Spring is finally here, and I know she's been revving through your mind all winter, and even though she looks ready to rock, before you get swept up in your own excitement, take the time to ensure that you're going to have a safe, smooth ride. On today's episode, we're ticking off all the boxes, making sure the Honda Rebel is road ready with our spring maintenance checklist. So take a seat, grab your manual, and let's get into it. Check out the description for product links, timestamps to skip to different parts of the preseason checklist, and let's get cruising. Motorcycle maintenance is one of those things that's so important to dedicate time towards. Simple inspections and upkeep could literally save your life, or at the very least allow for a more enjoyable ride and a chance to show your bike some love. No harm done. There's no telling what issues might suddenly present themselves after the bike's been sitting for a while, so go over your Rebel with a fine-tooth comb. You never know what you might uncover after the snow melt.
Hey, is that a 500?
Keep your manual in your back pocket. When in doubt, this is the #1 document to refer to. Now I know you've probably admired the Rebel in the garage all winter, but take a closer look. Check if there's leak strips under the bike, and if there are, investigate the cause. Check the radiator, fork seals, and around the oil filter. Check for loose components and make sure there's not friction or rubbing created between any parts of the bike. Make sure your mirrors are tight before you hit the streets. I've been in the position where they've actually started spinning because of a loose nut under there, so check that out. During the walk-around, check all your pivot points and lube them. This includes the footpegs, shifter, keyholes, levers, suspension, and the kickstand. Make sure none of the bulbs are burnt out for the head, taillights, and the signals. Inspect the functionality of the controls and the horn. Check the tread depth of the tires. Inspect for cracks, cuts, slits, impalements like nails, and any dry rot. Using an air pressure gauge, make sure the tires are filled with the appropriate PSI. In our case, it's 29. Now let's take a look at how we can check the Rebel's battery. If you didn't have the battery hooked up and charging while it was in storage, it's a good idea to check the state of your power supply. Pull the rear corners up of the seat, remove the mounting bolts using a 5mm Allen key, then pull the seat back and up. Make sure when you're doing this, the ignition switch is off. Remove the data link connector while pressing its tab from the battery cover. Now we're going to remove the clips and then just pop out the battery cover. Now we're disconnecting the negative and positive terminal. The Battery Tender Junior is a good accessory for any motorcyclist. This is different from a trickle charger because it doesn't charge the battery all the way up just to let it die. It actually keeps it charged. I'll drop a link in the description for the product. It's a must-have, especially for winter storage. It definitely provides more of a slow charge, but to own one is preventative maintenance. If you're looking to get the job done quick, a 12-volt jumper should do the trick between two motorcycles, or even rolling that baby down a hill, aka bump starting.
Nice bike, I drive a Kawasaki.
Check the brake pads. These have wear indicators just like tires do. The pads need to be replaced if the brake pad is worn to the indicator. Inspect the front pads below the brake caliper and the rear from the back right of the motorcycle. To check the brake fluid, make sure the bike is in the upright position. For the front, make sure the fluid level is above the lower level marker, and as you can see, there's plenty. The rear brake reservoir, however, is a bit harder to see. Looking at the indicator window, all you can see is an opaque plastic window. I can actually see the fluid level a little bit, but to get a decent observation, I can use a small flashlight and shine it up from below the reservoir to make sure that the fluid is between the lower and upper level marks. While sitting on the bike upright on a level surface, check that the coolant level is between the upper and lower level marks on the reserve tank. If you notice that the level is dropping noticeably or it's empty, you'll need to take your bike to a dealer. If it's below the level mark, you can just add coolant if you have the proper tools, but ensure you only remove the cap while the bike is cold, or else you could potentially scald yourself. Check out our Honda Rebel oil change video for a full guide and play-by-play, including tips and how-tos on the process. Ultimately, this should be done every spring regardless of mileage. According to my 2019 Rebel 300 maintenance guide, the first oil change should be done after the first 1,000 kilometers, then approximately every 12,800 kilometers, or every year, regardless of mileage. Similarly, the oil filter has to be changed the first 1,000 kilometers, but essentially only has to be replaced every other time you change the oil, so approximately every 25,000 kilometers. The chain maintenance schedule depends on a lot of different factors, so I wouldn't commit to a particular mileage for cleaning and lubing the chain. It's heavily dependent on if the chain's dirty or dry, which usually reflects what kind of environment you're cruising in. If it's dirty, you're probably riding on dusty or muddy terrain mostly, so I'd both clean and oil the chain. If you've been riding in rainy weather or long distances where the chain gets hot, I would simply oil it. To get the job done right, you might want to pick up one of these chain brushes. You can also use some old kerosene as an alternative chain cleaner, and then you'll want to pick up some of this chain lube here for afterwards. There's a few ways to lube a chain. There's the Hydrolic bottle jack that will help you lift the rear wheel. It's on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description if you're interested. Another option, if you're tag teaming it, would be for one person to lift the bike up on the kickstand just like this, and the second person could spin the wheel and spray the chain. Now, Andy's here getting creative and providing us a cheaper alternative method to a rear wheel stand and the bottle jack. I'm definitely a fan of saving some money, but do this at your own risk.
This super getaway with a block under there, and then instead I just put a block under there. This isn't the way I suggest to do it, but I just did it for the video. Now we got our chain kit here, Motul kit. This was 56 bucks. So it comes with chain lube, chain cleaner, and it comes with a brush. It looks like a set of gloves. There's our brush there. Chain cleaner. Eliminates encrusted deposits, oil deposits, O-ring, X-ring, Z-ring. I'm gonna put a brush underneath. That goes on here. I can brush all the sides. With the spray. Wow. Make sure that's nice and clean. There we go. And this, you could do it like this somehow. Just rotate that through. That's gonna clean the top. That's the chain of lube. More precision. Here, do the whole thing, the outside. So if there is any oil in your actual tire, you're gonna have to clean that off so you don't slip. Then what you're gonna wanna do is just let this sit overnight. It's 1 1/4 inch free play. 1 1/4 inch from the bottom down here to how much that moves top.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on, and we'll see you next time.